I've created an actually perfect player on Football Manager and put them on the worst team in the world. Well, not quite. We put them on the worst team in England, which is called Dover Athletic. And we're going to simulate 15 years to see how far this guy can carry Dover Athletic up the pyramid. Will they win the Premier League, or will they get stuck in League 2? And well, after 2 months, it turns out having literally the best player that's ever existed is pretty useful in the 6th tier of England. And our chosen player is already the Golden Boot leader with 15 goals in just 9 league matches. His name's Destiny Oladipo, by the way. I tried to rename him to Leonard Messi, but the game kind of breaks and shifts his name back and forth. So he's both. But what we also did is set his nationality to Bolivian. Because why not? Why wouldn't I do that? That's just fun. Current match rating of 9.41 with 22 goal contributions in 9 matches. And it is amazing to watch somebody this good play at this level. Watch the separation. Obviously it's not fair. Obviously it's not fair. But that's nothing until you've seen Destiny Oladipo drop this superhuman header assist to win a match in the final seconds. Is that a 20-yard pinpoint accurate header? You bet your bottom dollar it is. They haven't lost a game yet, and he already has 2 hat tricks, so this might be faster than we thought. We tune back in January, and they still haven't lost a league match the entire season. The worst team in the league is devouring the entire competition. 23 wins from 28 matches. Destiny Oladipo has 63 goals in 28 matches. He has contributed to 81 goals over the course of 28 matches. Or to phrase that another way, there are only 13 goals scored by Dover Athletic this season so far that he has not contributed to as either a goal or an assist. By the end of the season, Dover Athletic has lost a couple of matches, but it put together 113 points and qualified unbelievably easily. But that is not the most unbelievable part, because Destiny Oladipo scored a ridiculous 96 goals in the first season. He had an average rating of 9.25 and also led the league in assists with 24. But maybe the funniest part of all of this is the top 3 in the league in assists were all Dover Athletic players because they were feeding the ball to Destiny Oladipo. There were 46 matches played, of which he was the player of the match 37 times, with 120 total goal contributions. And yeah, I know you're gonna ask, don't worry, he contributed to 120 of 147 goals scored by his team in this season. That is 82% of all the goals from one guy scoring or assisting. But surely this is going to get harder for Dover Athletic the higher they get up in the leagues. But before we check that out, I just wanted to let you know the travel series that we do on this channel called Hidden Grounds has episode 3 coming out on November 12th at 10 a.m. New York time, 3 p.m. London time. In this series, my brother and I take you to some of the most unique outposts in the entire world of football. If you haven't watched the first 2 episodes, I highly recommend it, and I hope that you enjoy the one that comes out on the 12th. There will be a trailer for that video at the end of this video, which hopefully you guys think is awesome. Season 2 with the perfect player. And guess what? Dover Athletic is top of the league again, going from the worst team in the 6th tier all the way to potentially making it into the football league in just 2 seasons. Turns out all you need is the best player ever created. They started the season with an 8-0 win over South Shields, and despite a couple of early losses to Aldershot Town and Crawley Town, they have continued to put up a ton of goals and blow out basically everybody they're playing. They have, however, been stunned in the 3rd round of the FA Trophy with a 3-2 loss to Dulwich Hamlet. This despite a 2-goal lead provided by Destiny Oladipo. He also managed to guide Dover Athletic to the FA Cup's 2nd round, 1 round away from being drawn against all of the Premier League teams. They lost at home 2-1 to Charlton Athletic, which fair. Destiny Oladipo scored the only goal. Obviously, he did. By the end of the season, Dover Athletic would go on to win the league again with 111 points and 35 wins from 46 matches. Destiny Oladipo scored a ridiculous 92 goals, but he, however, did not lead the league in assists also. That would fall to Josh Davidson and Steve Seddon, who both fed him assists. He still registered over 100 goal contributions on the season, and he had 15 assists. It's not like he wasn't passing, although he shouldn't, ever. He clearly should never pass. But the question to ask is whether the Football League can help slow down the best player ever and Dover Athletic's seemingly unstoppable march to the Prem. And the answer in January of Season 3 is no. But like, Kind of. See, now the people in the streets have taken to calling him Leonard Messi, and he's switched his nationality to English. I was hoping he'd play for the Bolivian national team, but it looks like he has bigger plans. And Dover Athletic is still top of League 2, now in the fully professional football league, but they're only top by 3 points. They've already lost 6 matches and dropped points in 13. The most interesting thing is the defenses in League 2 seem to be a little bit better about keeping Leonard Messi, sick nickname, from getting to open goals constantly, because he is now having to assist his teammates more. Keep in mind that the team around Leonard Messi at this point is no doubt incredibly subpar for League 2. He is just dragging the carcass of the worst team in the 6th division through the divisions, leading the league with 17 assists and rocking out with 45 goals from 33 league matches. They got further in the FA Cup this time, all the way to the 3rd round, but were defeated by Stockport County there. By the time we get to the end of the season, the cracks are starting to show, because Dover Athletic does not win the league. It still gets promoted. 3 teams go up from League 2, but it gets promoted in 3rd place. They were in 1st place until match day 44, and they tried to bottle it away. In fact, Dover Athletic lost 4 of its last 6 matches en route to automatic promotion. This is likely because Leonard Messi wasn't playing. He suffered a slipped disc while lifting weights and missed the 6 weeks right at the end of the season, only coming back right at the very end. But if Leonard Messi starts having injury issues, then we have a problem. Well, we don't have a problem, but Dover Athletic would have a problem. But 3 years, 3 straight promotions. And as if things couldn't get any better for our boy Leonard Messi and Dover Athletic, after getting promoted from League 2, he was called up to the English national team for the run-up to the World Cup. Leonard Messi's decision to switch to England meant that even though he was just getting promoted up into the 3rd division of the English leagues for the first time, he had already been called up to the English national team. And he wasn't just there, he was playing in matches. Leonard Messi scored the winning goal against Belgium in the first match of the group stage. Leonard Messi would go on to score 4 goals in the group stage. He scored 2 more goals against Ghana in the round of 32, and then he scored a brace against Japan in the round of 16. And in the quarterfinal, he would score the goal to take the lead against Italy. Unfortunately, though, for England, Italy would turn it around and manage to beat the incredible League 1 player in the World Cup quarterfinal. But despite the fact that he only made it to the quarterfinal, Leonard Messi would win 3rd place in the World Cup Golden Boot, just a goal behind Kylian Mbappe and Endrick. And now we have a player going into League 1 with 6 caps and 9 goals. First year in League 1, it's getting a little tight. It's getting a little nervous. Dover Athletic is in 4th place, and only 2 teams get automatic promotion. Now, granted, they have a better goal difference. They're only 3 points out of the top 2 spots, but it is clear that Leonard Messi is not going to be able to carry this team as well in League 1 as he could in the 6th division. We are in the 3rd division now, and this is a team in Dover Athletic that's in the 3rd division, starting players that look like this. They have not had the time to build up the financial firepower to be able to compete against the other teams in this league, which means it is Leonard Messi or bust. Like, these guys could barely hack it in the 5th division of England, let alone the 3rd division. And Leonard Messi has continued to struggle with injuries. He's pulled his calf. He's twisted his ankle on 2 separate occasions that have knocked him out for a month each. And the crazy thing is you can see on the schedule when he's gone, because all of a sudden they're winning a bunch of matches and then all of a sudden they're not. But Dover Athletic managed to advance even farther in the FA Cup this year, just losing 1-0 at Watford in the 4th round. So maybe that money can help them pay for some players. But you could say the only reason they lost that match is because Leonard Messi did not play. He was out with an injury. So it's not so much that Leonard Messi can't carry this team, it's that he's too hurt to do it consistently enough. And that would end up costing Dover Athletic, because at the end of their first season in League 1, no automatic promotion for the world's greatest player. They finished 4th, 8 points out of automatic promotion with 89 points in their first League 1 season. Now, of course, Leonard Messi had 57 goals, an 8.75 average rating, and 16 assists, which tied for the league lead. But in order to continue the streak of perfect promotions, they have to win the playoff. And that playoff would be against the same team that they just drew 4-4 with in the last match of the season, Plymouth. On the road, they picked up a 3-2 win thanks to a goal from Leonard Messi, of course. But at home, the truly catastrophic defense of Dover Athletic finally ate them up. They conceded 5 goals, and Leonard Messi could only produce an 8.8, meaning the Dover Athletics promotion streak was over. The best player ever had carried Dover from the 6th tier to the 3rd tier, but now they were stuck. The following year, it would happen again. In fact, Dover Athletic would finish 9 points worse than the year previous and in 6th position in the league. But despite the struggles in the league and a first-round loss in the FA Cup to Wrexham, they did manage to make it all the way to the League Cup quarter-final. This included wins over the Welsh Prides of Swansea and Cardiff, as well as AFC Wimbledon. But no glory against Leeds United, as they lost 2-0 at home. The playoff would pit them against Oxford United. It started wonderfully with a 4-1 win at home, but unbelievably, they blew it and lost 5-0 at Oxford to get knocked out in the semi-final of the playoff for the 2nd straight year. And things really seemed to be getting worse for Dover Athletic, because the next year, year 6, they would finish in 6th again with even fewer points, squeaking into the playoff on the final match day. Leonard Messi ended with 52 goals, an 8.4 rating, and a league-leading 16 assists, but there was only, apparently, so much he could do. But Dover was back in the playoffs for a 3rd straight year, thanks to an 8-0 demolition on the final day. By the way, that's how they got into the last playoff spot. An 8-0 win where Leonard Messi scored 5 goals, including 2 goals in the first 2 minutes of the game. For the 3rd straight year, Dover Athletic would lose in the semi-final, and they would do it again by blowing a lead after the first leg. Now, these struggles in League One have not hurt Leonard Messi's position with Team England. He has 27 caps and 23 goals, although he's never played in the top 2 divisions of the country. And that's fair, because at this point, in January of his 7th season, he has 283 appearances and 429 goals. His worst season had 60 goal contributions in it, and he was hurt for like a third of it. But surely this is the year that he can drag Dover Athletic into the championship. Surely. And he did. With a 100-point championship season after 4 years in League One, Leonard Messi will be playing in the top 2 divisions and has brought Dover Athletic along for the ride. But the team around him was really the biggest reason, because it's gotten significantly better. Like this guy, loaned in from Sunderland. I'm not gonna sing. Loans! I blacked out there for a second. What happened? Or a fellow striker like this Mateo Joseph guy, who actually had a U21 cap for Spain and is objectively a solid League One player, at least. In fact, after all those years, Dover Athletic's not even last in League One in terms of salary per year. They're 21st, but that's because they have the best player ever on a pretty discounted contract. But promotion's not the only big thing happening for Leonard Messi this season, because it's time for a 2nd World Cup with England. But this time, he's even a league higher. Leonard Messi would score 4 goals in the group stage again in dominant wins over Ghana and Kyrgyzstan, but then a loss to Denmark, which nearly knocked England out. Ha! Just kidding. 3rd place teams can get in now, so even though 3 teams had 6 points, it didn't matter. The round of 32, they played against Jamaica, and Leonard Messi scored again. The round of 16, it was Spain, tied going into the 92nd minute, but that's when you call Superman Leonard Messi. I mean, it was a tap-in, but in the quarterfinals, somehow it was a matchup with Australia, which of course a Leonard Messi-led England pushed aside. In the semi-final, it was Uruguay, which Leonard Messi then promptly scored a hat trick against to send England to the World Cup final. Which means we now have a guy that just got promoted to the English Championship that is leading England to a World Cup final, which of course they would win, against the team that knocked them out 4 years ago in Italy. So Dover Athletic now had a Golden Boot winning, World Cup winning superstar on its team as it started its quest to get promoted out of the championship. And if we check in January, they're in 7th, which is not exactly what you would have hoped for, but still, I mean, they've never been in the bottom half of the league. Leonard Messi is leading the league with 18 goals, but that is stunningly low. The reason? Injuries. He's only played in 17 championship matches because of a torn calf muscle that knocked him out for 3 months. Then he restrained the same calf, and that kept him out for 3 more weeks. So quite impressive that Dover Athletics built up a team quick enough to be able to withstand 3 months without Leonard Messi. And once Messi got healthy, Dover Athletic was able to grab a top 6 finish in its first year in the championship. But of course, they don't have a great history of success in playoffs. But despite a 6.4 from Leonard Messi, the literal perfect player, Dover Athletic advanced 2-1 on aggregate over Bristol City in the second leg of the semi-final. This set up a final match with Bournemouth to go to the Premier League after just 8 seasons. And it started fabulously for Dover. Leonard Messi is able to shelf a goal, but then Bournemouth responds with not 1, not 2, 3 goals to make it 3-1. But Dover Athletic was not done. In the second half, Dover Athletic gets a penalty from a pass by Leonard Messi, to try and cut the lead to 3-2. Of course, Leonard Messi scores it, and that leaves Dover Athletic trying to chase the one goal to send this to extra time and keep their dream of the Premier League alive. Of course, 2 goals would also be great, but one at a time here. And they had to wait all the way to the 94th minute, and then this happened. It had nothing to do with Leonard Messi, but my boy Rodriguez draws a penalty. And who's taking it but the World Cup winning, Golden Boot World Cup winning superstar that has led this team up from the 6th division to try and force extra time for a spot in the Premier League. Leonard Messi. Did not see that one coming. The best player possible chokes the penalty, and Bournemouth goes to the Prem 3-2. Oh no. The following season, Leonard Messi would stay healthier, and Dover Athletic would pull itself into 3rd place in the championship, just a bit off the top 2 spots for Bristol City and Nottingham Forest. Dover would win a wild semi-final shootout against Sheffield United, led by Leonard Messi, who scored and assisted. Which brings us to a 2nd consecutive playoff final to make it to the Premier League. Dover against Bolton. And with a 2-1 lead in the second half, Leonard Messi would have the opportunity to excise his demons. Dover would hang on for a 3-2 win, and that means that with a perfect player in just 9 seasons, Dover Athletic was able to go all the way from the worst team in the 6th division to the Premier League. Leonard Messi finished the season with 58 goal contributions, and he's won the Golden Boot in every year that he's played in a league. But I feel like the Premier League might finally test that. Everybody knows the jump up in quality from the Championship to the Prem is absolutely savage. It is brutal. And the biggest issue Dover has had is in these jumps up, they have obviously not been able to keep up in terms of the players around Leonard Messi. And that has shown through in the Premier League. In January of their first season, Dover Athletic is in 19th. Leonard Messi, though, amazingly, is still leading the race for the Golden Boot with 21 goals, 3 more than Erling Haaland. And despite the fact that his team has won just 3 of the 22 matches they've played in the Premier League this season, he leads the league in average rating at 7.85. I don't even know how that's possible. And you can't really blame Leonard Messi for not being able to carry this team. This is a ranking of every one of the teams in the Prem based off of the salary they're spending per year. On top is Newcastle at 469 million per year, then City, then Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, United, Everton, Liverpool, all over 200 million per year. And if we scroll all the way to the bottom, we'll find Dover Athletic, which is spending just $16.65 million per year. That is a whole 50 million less than Bristol City, who are way behind everybody else in the league, like Ipswich Town is at 100. Dover Athletic's making pure profit, baby. But maybe even more concerning than Dover Athletic's spending is the fact that Liverpool is apparently in 17th position in the Premier League right now. Something to, I don't know, keep an eye on. Unsurprisingly, Dover Athletic would go down. Surprisingly, they only finished 1 point behind Liverpool, who were right on the cusp of relegation. Leonard Messi would complete his conquest of the Golden Boot with 29 goals on a team that won 7 matches all year. But it was an ugly season, and as good as Leonard Messi is, he was not able to change the team overnight. The following year, with that massive injection of cash, you'd expect Dover to be able to run away with the championship again, except they didn't. Dover has still never finished in the top 2 of the championship. It pulled up for a 3rd place finish, and Leonard Messi hit his stride with 47 goals and 13 assists. In the championship playoffs, for the 3rd time in 4 years, Dover Athletic once again got through the semi-final with a 3-1 second leg win thanks to a goal and assist from, well, Leonard Messi. This brings us to the final. Dover Athletic against Rotherham. And Rotherham would actually grab the early lead here, but that's before Dover used its not-so-secret weapon, Leonard Messi. And I can't even tell you how many of his goals looked like this. His aerial ability as a perfect player is stunning. Dover Athletic would go on to win, and they are headed back to the Premier League. The following year, year 12 of our Dover Athletic journey, we see them sustaining themselves in the Premier League. They're actually 4 points ahead of an unbelievably bad Liverpool team right now. They're in 15th, and Leonard Messi, for the first time in his career, is not going to win the Golden Boot. At least I don't think so. He's 10 goals behind Erling Haaland. Maybe Haaland's the perfect goal scorer. Haaland would go on to score 39 goals in this one Premier League season as Man City were crowned the champions. Leonard Messi would finish 2nd. He still won the league when it came to overall rating, and Dover would finish in 16th. Liverpool finishing in 15th. They turned it around, I guess. That meant that our best player ever managed to keep Dover Athletic up in the Prem while they were spending $24 million a year on salaries. The following season, the Herculean struggle between Leonard Messi and Erling Haaland would continue. Haaland would win the Golden Boot by a single goal, but Dover Athletic would get its best ever finish in the pyramid at 13th in the league. And if you start to look at their team, you can see a couple of guys that belong in the Prem starting to appear, like Cole Palmer joining Dover, or Strahinja Pavlovic now playing on Dover Athletic. Granted, they're now quite old because we're pretty far in the future, but at least they're collecting guys that used to be stars. They actually brought Cole Palmer out of Saudi Arabia where he played for 4 years and made a ton of money. And speaking of age, at this point, our Leonard Messi is now 34 years old. He has 80 caps and 85 goals for England and has been a superstar in the game, in the English game, for a long time. But he's never played in Europe, and he has to retire in 2 years. And fortunately, year 14 would give Leonard Messi that chance. Not only would he win the Golden Boot back from Erling Haaland after 2 years off the throne with 35 goals, Dover Athletic would grab the 8th spot in the league, which would put them in the Conference League. They managed to do this while spending still a paltry $65.5 million per year in the Prem. Still the lowest. But now there is enough of a team around Leonard Messi for them to try and make the magic happen. While Liverpool, weirdly, continues to wallow around 15th in the Prem. Again. But it's the final season of our best ever player's career, and he has a chance at European glory in the Conference League. By January, Dover Athletics having another solid season in the Prem, 28 points out of 21 matches. Leonard Messi, a bit of a slow start with just 14 goals to January, but still top of the league in average rating. A first ever trip to the League Cup semi-final, derailed by Norwich of all teams, but an issue. Pulled knee ligaments that have Leonard Messi out for a couple of weeks. Fortunately for Dover, though, the Conference League is a cakewalk, and they are definitely going to qualify in the top 8. So, and while some Premier League struggles continued, their Europa Conference League round of 16 against Servette was anything but a struggle, with a 6-0 home win. And you know what's particularly crazy? Leonard Messi didn't play in that match. That's because this time, Leonard Messi broke his ankle. He's battling for fitness, and they're going to need him if they're going to bring home that European glory. In the Conference League, despite a wall of losses in the Prem, they were able to squeak by Monza from Italy. 3-0 on aggregate. The team that Leonard Messi helped build is carrying him to potential European victory. The Conference League semi-final is against Derry City, somehow. And despite the absence of Leonard Messi, they win 6-0 on aggregate over Derry City in the semi-final, setting up a final against European Cup lovers Sevilla. And this was going to be tough for Leonard Messi, as Dover Athletic was able to gut out a 16th place finish in the Premier League without Messi for the back half of the season. He would start to try and play through the injury right at the end of the year. You can see him listed in the teams as playing with a knock against Derby County, where he scored a goal, against Bristol City, all working its way up to a European final against Sevilla, the club that he started at that was supposed to get relegated from the 6th division. Leonard Messi's final game. But catastrophe struck right before the first half, with Sevilla grabbing a goal. And right on the other side of the half, it was Sevilla again on a sneaky set piece that beat Gavin Bazunu. But Leonard Messi was still out there, injured, coming back from that broken ankle. But it was his teammate, McCann, that picked him up to score and make it 2-1. This brings us to the 84th minute, and I'll let Dover take it from here. Leonard Messi, coming back early from a broken ankle, gets himself into a spot to equalize in the Conference League final against Sevilla. And that would send us to penalties. And who's going first after a Sevilla goal but Leonard Messi? His final act after this amazing 15-year journey. And the England and Dover legend scores it. We are tied at 3 after 4 takers. The legend of Leonard Messi trying to win a European Cup for Dover in just 15 years. But then there was Van Heck. Heartbreak for the best ever player. But he took Dover on a ride from the worst team in the 6th division to qualifying for Europe out of the Premier League. And if his ankle wasn't broken, maybe they just would have won it. But it's time for the legend to hang up the cleats. And it's time for a preview of episode 3 of Hidden Grounds.
Before we really get going, can we get these Jaeger bombs down us?
Got 4-0 tonight. They started the football team with all the blokes that came round the bar.
Did you know what Gibraltar was?
No.
So for me, it was like a step up from football manager.
So you'd played football
So
manager
I've played
before.
football manager all my life, but this was like the next step. It was like chairman manager.
What's your sales pitch?
Are you tired of playing in the rain? Do you want to play in the sun?
A family of 4 would walk across the pitch during the trials.
We're in our numbers. We've got what 9, 10 fans, and we're gonna give it a good go, you know.